pleasant good morning to you and a warm welcome to News Hour. I am Esther Sako. Coming up, President Julius Maada Bio hosts a state banquet in honor of the President of Gabonese Republic, Brice Oligui Nguema, as his delegation departs following a 3-day official state visit. On the occasion of NATCA's 20th anniversary, the Minister of Communications, Technology and Innovation, Salim Abba, calls upon telecommunication service operators to improve on the services and ensure citizens enjoy the value of their money. And the Minister of Fisheries and Marine Resources concludes its fish distribution exercise, delivering fresh fish donated by Ocean Fresh to schools, hospitals, and vulnerable groups. These stories and more, including entertainment and sport, are all lined up in this morning's edition of News Hour. Stay with us. Welcome back to News Hour. Beginning news with one of our top stories. President Julius Maada Bio hosted a state banquet in honor of the President of Gabonese Republic, Brice Oligui Nguema, and his delegation. The banquet celebrated the General Cooperation Agreement signed earlier in the day and reaffirmed the growing partnership between Sierra Leone and Gabon. The event was held at Chapter 1 on Lumley Beach Road in Freetown. Our State House correspondent Margaret Senge reports.
Diplomacy took center stage at Chapter 1 as President Julius Maada Bio hosted President Brice Oligui Nguema of Gabon and his delegation at a state banquet. The evening brought together government officials, diplomats, business leaders, and invited guests to celebrate a new chapter in relations between Sierra Leone and Gabon. President Bio and First Lady, Dr. Fatima Maada Bio, welcomed the visiting head of state and his delegation before the two countries raised their glasses in a toast of friendship and cooperation. In her welcome remarks, the First Lady said Sierra Leone and Gabon share modern history. She said both countries share common hopes for Africa's future.
May the friendship we celebrate tonight grow stronger. Every exchange between our couples, every partnership between our business, and every bond formed between our people. May this official visit mark the beginning of a new chapter in Sierra Leone-Gabon relations, rooted in our shared history, strengthened by fraternity and sustained by tangible results. May I invite you now to rise and join me in raising our glasses. To the move ahead, continued wisdom and success of His Excellency President Brice Oligui Nguema, pour la paix, pour la prospérité et pour la progression forte de la République gabonaise. To an enduring friendship between Sierra Leone and Gabon, rooted in freedom, strengthened by fraternity and destiny of shared prosperity. Long live the friendship between our two.
In his toast, President Bio said the evening was about more than ceremony. He said it reflected a shared commitment to unity, development, and stronger ties between the two nations.
When Gabon and Sierra Leone sit at the same table, Africa is stronger. Let us eat, let us laugh, and let us dream together. For as an African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So let us go far together, Gabon and Sierra Leone, to friendship, to unity, and to the enduring partnership between Sierra Leone and Gabon.
President Bio said the new partnership should deliver practical benefits for both countries and their people. President Brice Oligui Nguema thanked President Bio, the First Lady, and the people of Sierra Leone for their warm reception. He encouraged business leaders to seize new investment opportunities in Gabon.
In my regards, we both share the vision of an Africa that stands in solidarity. Thank you for the congratulations that you have expressed on my election in Gabon after a peaceful transition. May the businessmen here present seize this opportunity to come and invest in Gabon in order to further South-South cooperation.
The Gabonese leader praised the growing friendship between the two countries. He expressed appreciation for the spirit of cooperation and President Bio's words of support. He ended his remarks by proposing a toast to continued partnership between Sierra Leone and the Gabonese Republic. The guests later shared a buffet style of meal while being serenaded with a traditional music and a saxophone. Officials say the spirit of banquet will carry into the Joint Commission meeting scheduled for November, where both countries are expected to agree on concrete projects in trade, security, and culture. The state banquet caps a landmark day in Sierra Leone-Gabon relations. Government says the focus now shifts from signing agreements to delivering results and creating a new opportunity for Sierra Leonean businesses. Margaret Senge, SLBC News, Freetown.
And now, later on, President Julius Maada Bio and First Lady Fatima Bio were at the Lunge International Airport to bid farewell to the President of the Gabonese Republic, President Brice Oligui Nguema, as he concluded his 3-day visit to Sierra Leone. A State House correspondent, Margaret Senge, again.
Lunge International Airport was the setting for a warm diplomatic farewell as President Julius Maada Bio saw off President Brice Clotaire Oligui Nguema and his delegation. The departure marked the end of a 3-day state visit that strengthened relations between Sierra Leone and Gabon. President Nguema arrived on Sunday for a state visit that culminated in the signing of a general cooperation agreement. The agreement covers cooperation in trade, agriculture, security, diplomacy, culture, and the technical exchange. Both leaders also agreed to establish a joint commission that will meet in November to fast-track the implementation of key projects last night. President Bio hosted a state banquet in honor of the Gabonese delegation, where he reaffirmed the Sierra Leone's commitment to stronger African partnership. In his response, President Nguema thanked the government and the people of Sierra Leone for their warm hospitality. He also encouraged greater investment and business partnership between the two countries. Government says attention now shifts from signing the agreement to delivering results. The Joint Commission is expected to drive investment, expand trade, and create opportunities for the people of both Sierra Leone and Gabon. President Nguema departs with both nations, reaffirming their commitment to deepen cooperation, including under the African Continental Free Trade Area. Reporting for SLBC News, I am Margaret Senge, State House.
Earlier, Sierra Leone and Gabon have taken a major step towards deepening bilateral relations. The two countries signed a joint communique and a general cooperation agreement aimed at expanding partnership in trade, security, agriculture, energy, and governance. The deal paved the way for stronger trade, security, and diplomatic ties ahead of a joint commission in November. A State House correspondent, Margaret Senge, has the details.
The visit of the President of Gabon and his delegation to Sierra Leone marks a new chapter in Freetown-Libreville relations. State House was the scene of high-level diplomacy as President Julius Maada Bio hosted his colleague Brice Oligui Nguema of Gabon. At the center of talks was a shared vision, stronger African integration, and mutual prosperity. Both leaders reaffirmed their commitment to democratic governance, constitutional order, human rights, and good governance as essential foundation for development. Talks were also deepened on agriculture, trade, energy, mining, transportation, the blue economy, and defense, among other things. President Julius Maada Bio used the opportunity to congratulate him on his election as president. President Bio says Sierra Leone and Gabon shared common values and believes that by working together, both countries can deliver prosperity, peace and dignity for their people.
Africa's future will be shaped not only by the resources beneath our soil, but also by investment we make in our people. We should deepen cooperation in education, technical and vocational training, healthcare, digital transformation, and artificial intelligence. Cultural, youth, sporting, and professional exchanges will further strengthen relations between our two peoples.
The visiting president from Gabon, Brice Clotaire Oligui Nguema, echoes that statement, stressing the need for stronger African voice on the global stage. He lauded President Bio for the kind hospitality they received in Sierra Leone. He says it is good to sign an agreement since both countries shared many things in common. The highlight of the visit was the signing of a general cooperation agreement by the ministers of foreign affairs of both countries. It covers 5 pillars: diplomatic, political, economic, technical, and cultural cooperation. This agreement is more than diplomacy. It is about transforming both economies, integrating the region, and ensuring that Africa speaks with one voice in the world. On trade, both countries agreed to leverage the African Continental Free Trade Area to boost intra-African business. Business delegations from Gabon and Sierra Leone will be exchanged in the coming months. Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Timothy Kaba, says the general agreements give them the legal framework. He says ministers and senior officials will establish the consultation mechanism and negotiate specific MOUs.
The starting point is to sign this general agreement. And there is also a proposition from my counterpart, the Minister of
The Minister of Communications, Technology and Innovation, Salim Abba, has called on telecommunications service operators to improve on their services and ensure that citizens enjoy the value of their money. She made the call during the National Telecommunications Authority 20th anniversary in Freetown. Suleiman Babatui reports.
Sierra Leone's journey to a sustainable and effective telecommunications service has been a struggling one over the years. But through the encouragement of innovation and the introduction of new players and services, according to speakers, more options became available to consumers, strengthening access to communication services nationwide. This progress, they said, has helped improve how citizens connect, do business, and engage with services that depend on reliable telecommunications. The 20th anniversary of Sierra Leone's National Communications Authority, NATCA, was celebrated, highlighting its role in fostering investment, competition, consumer protection, and digital transformation, thereby connecting people, empowering businesses, and contributing to the country's socio-economic development. Speaking on the challenges of balancing investment, government needs, and consumer demands, the Minister of Communications, Technology and Innovation, Salim Abba, called for improved connectivity and quality service in the years to come.
Currently, population coverage is at 90%, but usage is still at 42%. What does that mean? That means that even though network access has expanded to over 97 or 90% of the population, only 42% of the population are actually using the internet. And this is what we need to change over the next 20 years.
while commending the players involved for the authority's achievement over the years. NATCA's Director General, Amara Biwa, pledged to reinforce the belief that effective regulation and support for the sector are essential for sustainable progress in telecommunications. He highlighted their achievements over the years.
Today, the sector comprises 4 mobile networks operators, 1 mobile virtual operator, 32 internet service providers, 21 licensed television stations, 222 FM stations, 3 open access infrastructure operators. Cellular population coverage has reached 97.4%. Mobile voice subscriptions stand at 8.66 million, while mobile data subscriptions have reached 3.78 million.
The speakers from Africell, Orange, QCell and Seratel, among others, emphasized the importance of collaboration to match up to the world's advancing digital innovation, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, AI, and universal connectivity. They pledged to improving service delivery across the country. The theme for the celebration is 20 years of consumer-focused connectivity. SLBC News, Staman Babatue reporting.
The Minister of Fisheries and Marine Resources has concluded its fish distribution exercise, delivering fresh fish donated by Ocean Fresh to schools, hospitals, and vulnerable groups. Stella Bangwa went along and now reports.
A warm meal can be the first step towards healing for hundreds of patients, children and vulnerable people across Freetown. That meal has become more nutritious following the Ministry of Fisheries and Marine Resources completion of a fish distribution exercise. The initiative, supported by Ocean Fresh Fishing Company, forms part of its corporate social responsibility and aligns with President Julius Maada Bio's Feed Salon and Human Capital Development agenda. For many patients recovering in hospital beds, every meal counts. Fish, rich in protein and essential nutrients, is now expected to improve the quality of meals served at several health facilities and care centers. Minister of Fisheries and Marine Resources, Princess Duba, said the donation demonstrates government's commitment towards improving the welfare of Sierra Leoneans.
Our president's not talking. We talk about the human capital development, not to book learning no more. You know, say if you go to school, you know, get something like that, you know, they able to concentrate. So it thought I could say it also able to give people them food, but let them go able to develop their brain. And one of the good food the way they develop the brain are fish.
The final phase of the exercise took the ministry to Rokupa Hospital, the Relocated Persons with Disabilities Center at Bremer Lane, Don Bosco Fambul, the 34 Military Hospital, and the King Haman Maternal and Child Health Hospital. Director of Fisheries, Sheikh Hussein, said that the exercise spearheaded by the minister will be taken to the provinces as the focus is to ensure that the needs of citizens are met.
We are going to extend it to the provinces. In fact, we are targeting boarding home schools. In Freetown, we'll be supporting the schools that have boarding homes. For example, Girls High School, FSSG, will have been there now, but they are on holidays. We're going to also go to the provinces to support hospitals and schools, and also vulnerable groups.
Beneficiaries also welcomed the gesture, describing it as timely and a clear demonstration that government initiatives are reaching those who need them most.
We appreciate the fish so much because when you see their fish business stronger.
Management of the beneficiary institutions commended President Bio's vision under the Human Capital Development and Feed Salon initiatives, saying the support will go a long way in augmenting the nutritional needs of patients, children, and vulnerable persons in their care. As the exercise ends, the smile on the faces of beneficiaries was a reminder that beyond policies and programs, the greatest impact is shown in action. Reporting for SRBC, Stella Bangura.
Partners of the Feed Salon program has opened the 2026-2027 homegrown food feeding year. 20,000 bags of rice have already been secured as part of their target. 250,000 children across 5 districts will benefit from this program as part of government's flagship Feed Salon school feeding program. Each of the partners also used the platform to reiterate their lasting commitment to agricultural production, farmers' capacity building, and resilience livelihood in the country. Cynthia Kamara witnessed the opening day at WFP stores at the Kisidoket area in Freetown.
With a target of 250 kilograms, 1,000 kilograms has already been secured by the Ministry of Agriculture and its dedicated partners, which accumulated to approximately 20,000 bags of rice. The opening of the 2026-2027 homegrown school feeding year signifies the commitment of government and partners in not just providing food and nutrition for children, but sustaining children in school.
The other thing this program makes me very happy about always is I get a question. Where the rest? You speak nicely. Where is the rice? That's all we want to see. I have a very simple answer today. There's the rice. From Salon Farmer them to Salon School begin there. Across 5 districts, 250,000 children. That's the answer. That's very simple, I know, but people want that. And we're doing more than that. But really, that's why we do this.
Minister of State Martin Tarawali expressed a sincere appreciation to WFP and other development partners for their unwavering support to Sierra Leone's efforts to ensure that every child has access to safe nutrition and locally produced meals at schools.
What makes this program even more impactful is its homegrown approach. By producing food from our local farms, we are creating a laudable cycle where agriculture, nutrition, education, and economic development reinforce one another. When local farmers produce quality rice, vegetables, fruits, and other nutritious foods for our schools, they gain reliable markets and improved income.
Learning, according to the Minister of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, requires more than willingness. It requires nutrition and dignity. Each of the bags, he said, represent a farmer who made the choice to plant, harvest, and feed the nation's children.
A child goes from worrying about hunger to focusing on learning. A farmer goes from uncertainty to purpose. A community goes from fragmentation to connection. As we say, what you give a child gives the world. We are not just feeding pupils today. We are building the doctors, the teachers, the leaders, and the innovators that Sierra Leone will need tomorrow.
Lead farmer from Cambia District, Aissata Kaikai Sise, encouraged farmers to be resilient like never before. She called on women to embark on agriculture to improve the economy of Sierra Leone. However, the cooperation of agriculture and education is essential to the success of the program. For SLBC News, Cynthia Kamara reporting.
The Minister of Agriculture, Musa Paka, has meanwhile applauded agencies of the Feed Salon program for their continued effort. He revealed his appreciation at the opening of the 2026-2027 homegrown school feeding year. Associate ministries, including the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, also stressed on the significance of the school feeding program and its lasting impact on children. Cynthia Kamara again.
The opening of the 2026-2027 homegrown school feeding year signifies what can be achieved when all hands are on deck in addressing a national priority. These bags of rice represent the beginning of that journey for the coming school year. The school feeding program goes beyond fighting hunger among children in the rural areas to creating an inclusive atmosphere that encourages and sustains children in school. UN Resident Coordinator Sarafin Wakanda confirmed a school meal does not just support a child's education and nutrition, but as well support farmers, rural livelihoods, local businesses, and the wider economy.
The value of the United Nations is not simply in what each agency does individually. It's in how we combine our expertise to support stronger and more sustainable national systems. And homegrown school feeding provides a practical platform for that collaboration.
The official opening of the 2026-2027 school feeding year was described by the WFP representative as evidence of food system that work deliberately for Sierra Leonean farmers, communities, and children. WFP, however, does not see school feeding as an isolated activity, but rather protection and local economic development.
For a child, a school meal can improve concentration, attendance, and participation in learning. For a family, it can reduce the daily cost of sending children to school. For a farmer, regular demand can provide the confidence to invest in production, improve quality, and plan for the next season.
With nearly 1 in 5 people experiencing hunger in Africa, while food insecurity continues to affect millions, the FAO representative, Said A. Bansi, confirmed that food insecurity and malnutrition remains a significant challenge in Sierra Leone, especially among rural households that depends on agriculture for their livelihood. Initiatives as such, the homegrown school feeding helps address both challenges by creating demands for local production while supporting improved nutrition for school children. With a target of 250,000 kilograms, 1,000 has already been secured, approximately 20,000 bags of rice. This will target 250,000 children across 5 districts. Well, this goes beyond education and nutrition to showcasing the resilience of Sierra Leone farmers and the need to invest in agriculture. The homegrown school feeding reminds us that development must be inclusive, while the participation of the partners reveals a coordinated response to national priority that focuses on lasting impact. Each of the partners also used the platform to reiterate their lasting commitment to agricultural production, farmers' capacity, and resilient livelihoods. For SABC News, Cynthia Kamara reporting.
The Independent Media Commission has delivered its first publicly broadcast ruling since its establishment, finding in breach of media regulations over the publication of unverified allegations against Dr. Sylvia Olayinka-Blyden. The ruling was among 7 decisions announced at an organized press conference by the Commission, with other matters involving Salon Campus newspaper, Heritage newspaper, New Number newspaper, City Ontario newspaper, Night Watch newspaper, and Exclusive newspaper. Alimami Conte gives us highlights of the ruling on Liberty TV Online.
The Independent Media Commission has ruled that Liberty TV Online failed to meet the required standards of accuracy and verification under the Independent Media Commission Print and Electronic Media Regulations of 2022. The Commission found that the broadcaster had serious factual allegations against Dr. Sylvia Olayinka-Blyden without taking reasonable steps to verify them.
The Commission finds that A, the respondent broadcast without any reasonable steps to verify it a claim that the complainant went to Madam Zainab Sharif's residence. B, the respondent broadcast without any reasonable steps to verify it a claim that the complainant attempted to record Madam Zainab Sharif's minor ward at that residence. C, no finding is made as to whether these claims were in fact true or false. That question was never tried on its merits, and the respondent's guest is not a party to these proceedings.
The Commission said the issue before it was not whether the allegations made by a guest were true or false, but whether Liberty TV, as a licensed broadcaster, fulfilled its responsibility to verify information before publication. The Commission also found that Liberty TV independently breached the regulations by publishing a news summary accusing Dr. Olayinka Blyden of showing some level of dishonesty without seeking a response and without sufficient evidence to support that characterization. The broadcaster's arguments that it had offered the complainant a right of reply was rejected. The Commission ruled that a right of reply does not replace the obligation to retract information where a retraction has been demanded. The Commission also dismissed Liberty TV's reliance on an on-screen disclaimer stating that broadcasters remain responsible for content aired on their platforms. However, the Commission found insufficient evidence to support allegations of a coordinated smear campaign or abusive content, and those aspects of the complaints were dismissed.
These reasons, the Commission orders that Liberty TV Online shall, within 7 days of receipt of this ruling, 1. Publish a clarification on the same platform with the same provenance as the original publication, stating that the respondent was unable to substantiate the claims that the complainant entered Madam Zainab Sharif's residence or attempted to record a minor there, that those claims should not have been broadcast without verification and that they are withdrawn. 2. To publish an unqualified retraction of the news summary imputing dishonesty to the complainant on the same platform and with the same prominence as the original publication.
No fines or costs were imposed, as the Commission noted that this was Liberty TV's first appearance before it on a complaint of this nature. The broadcaster was, however, cautioned about its future conduct. The Commission's ruling on Liberty TV was one of 7 decisions delivered during the press conference, marking a significant step in publicly communicating media accountability decisions in Sierra Leone. For SLBC News, Alimami Konte reporting.
If you're just joining in, this is news now coming to you live from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation from Freetown. We continue with more stories. The government has announced new pump prices for petroleum products following a review of the petroleum pricing formula by the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Trade and Industry, and oil marketing companies. Effective immediately, the price of petrol is increased from 33 new leones to 35 leones per litre. The government said it was providing a subsidy of 2 leones, 11 cents per litre to cushion the impact on consumers. Diesel will sell at 40 new leones per litre, up from 35 leones. A subsidy of 3 leones, 4 cents per litre will also apply. According to the government, the price adjustment reflects changes in international fuel prices and movement in the exchange rate while ensuring that fuel subsidy remains sustainable. Authorities emphasize that petroleum prices will continue to be reviewed regularly. From there, Mercury International has handed over a fully furnished 2-bedroom bungalow worth $81,000 to Abu Fomba, a businessman from Kenema, who emerged as the grand prize winner of the company's nationwide Yourself Can Play and Win a New House promotion. The house, located at Taft Salon Micro City in John Obey, was officially presented to the winner during a ceremony attended by company officials, family members, and the media. Alimami Conte reports.
On behalf of the Board of Directors and on behalf of the management and the staff and the retailers and the customers and on behalf of everybody we wish this man well, I hereby cut the ribbon to this house.
Mercury International has officially handed over the keys to a 2-bedroom bungalow worth $81,000 to Abu Fomba, a businessman from Kenema, after he emerged as the grand prize winner of the company's Youssef Can Play and Win a New House promotion. The presentation ceremony took place at Taft Salon Micro City in John Obey, where company officials, well-wishers, and the media gathered to witness the official transfer of the property to the winner. The promotion, which started on April 1st, 2026, ended on July 20th, with the final draw conducted on July 21st, 2026, shortly after the FIFA World Cup final. Thousands of customers participated in the promotion, with sports bettors and casino players given opportunities to earn raffle tickets through their activities on Mercury International's platform. The lucky draw eventually selected Abu Fomba as the winner of the 2-bedroom bungalow. Speaking after receiving the keys to his new home, Fomba described the moment as a dream come true and that he never imagined owning a house in Freetown, adding that Mercury International had given him hope and turned that hope into a reality.
For me, na serious hot sun in the camera. Hot sun in the camera. So I'm so glad, and at the time for telling me brothers, they say Mercury is real. The more you play, the more you get chances. The game is real. And when you don't win, for say that they delay for pay you now, the instant you win, the instant you withdraw, you get your money.
Meanwhile, Mercury International's manager, Martin Michael, said the handover demonstrates the company's commitment to rewarding its customers and ensuring that promotions are conducted in a transparent manner.
Where you play, where you win, you guarantee forget your winnings. Everybody knows that. No go come today, no go come tomorrow. Where you win, we pay you immediately. Secondly, we no go come gather all them people that then can't do something like this if you're not genuine. First of all, Taft not going to allow you inside if you're not genuine. For that, I enter the compound just now. Now the security, they ask me 1,000,001 questions. So they don't go allow all them people there for enter if not too real.
He also disclosed plans for promotions later this year, including one targeting sports bettors and another for casino players, with details expected to be announced soon. For SLBC News, Alimami Conte reporting.
No, say that we buy this house for the winner. The key work. And look, they don't want the open, not to fake work, not real house. So congratulations, Mr. Winner. Enter your house. Don't force.
Parliament has enacted the Supplementary Appropriation Act 2026, approving a revised supplementary budget for the services of Sierra Leone for the 2026 financial year. During the debate, members of Parliament on both the ruling and opposition benches questioned the National Revenue Authority over revenue shortfalls and its failure to meet domestic revenue targets. Dennis Fraser report.
The Supplementary Appropriation Act 2026 being read the third time and passed into law. All those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
That was members of Parliament giving the green light to the 2026 supplementary budget
aimed at supporting the continued implementation of government programs and national development priorities. Presenting the bill before its passage, the Minister of Finance, Sheku Ahmed Fantamadi Bangura, assured Parliament that the government remains committed to strengthening fiscal policy and improving domestic revenue mobilization to accelerate national development. The Finance Minister acknowledged that instability in the global oil market continues to put pressure on the country's economy, but maintained that government will intensify efforts to address the prevailing economic challenges by strengthening budget credibility, safeguarding macroeconomic stability, and protecting the livelihoods of citizens.
If there are no major changes globally around what is happening in the Middle East, we have to sit up very tight as a country to ensure that our own internal policies are actually pronounced or couched or structured in the way that we are able to cushion the impact of those. And that is why we have placed so much attention for us to be able to make sure that our domestic revenue efforts are robust and solid.
The bill attracted extensive debates with legislators across the political divide, making thoughtful and nationally focused contributions. Members of Parliament collectively called on the government to enhance budget credibility, pursue sound macroeconomic policies, and strengthen transparency and accountability in public financial management. Lawmakers also mounted pressure on the National Revenue Authority over its inability to meet domestic revenue targets, raising concerns about the government's capacity to adequately finance the 2026 budget.
But this is reckless of us. They used to say, I will put the minister on a body for saying, we will not perform. NRA is not performing. Honestly, they are not. They are government browsers in terms of revenue collection. They are not browsers. Yes, they are. I have no regrets in saying this. NRA is a complete mess in terms of GSC. Let me tell Mr. Minister, we know the act very well. Yeah, there will be a time of movement most will go after NRA.
While proposing practical measures to address the revenue shortfall and stabilize the economy, opposition members of Parliament urged government to broaden and strengthen tax administration. They also questioned the significant budgetary allocation to the Office of the Chief Minister compared with other ministries and the government flagship programs.
Let us depoliticize 3 sectors if we want to grow as a country. Let us depoliticize education, agriculture, and health. If we direct our investments, we direct our funds into these 3 sectors, trust me, we are going to be a paradise in less than 20 years. Mr. Speaker, in all of this, we are still asking that when we have supplementary budget like this, they must not be seen to address just the office of the president, the chief minister, and other. But again, we need to see a reflection in the key ministries that drive change in society.
It could be recalled that Parliament approved the 2026 national budget in December last year, paving the way for its implementation in January this year. However, recent developments in both the global and domestic economies necessitated a revision of the original 2026 macro-fiscal framework, leading to the presentation and eventual passage of the Supplementary Appropriation Act 2026. SLBC, Dennis Fraser reporting.
China has reaffirmed its commitment to strengthen military cooperation with Sierra Leone as it celebrates its 99th anniversary of the founding of the Chinese People's Liberation Army (PLA) on the 55th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the two countries. The commitment was made during a reception at the Chinese Embassy in Freetown. Emmanuel Samora reports.
Founded on August 1, 1927, the People's Liberation Army has grown into one of the world's largest armed forces, contributing to national defense, United Nations peacekeeping, humanitarian assistance, and international security. Marking the occasion, Chinese Defense Attaché Senior Colonel Pauline said the PLA remains committed to safeguarding peace while deepening defense cooperation with Sierra Leone. He highlighted continued military training, medical support, and infrastructure assistance for the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces.
China formally commit to a defensive national defense policy and will continue to follow the path of peaceful development. The Chinese military is a steadfast force for the safeguarding world peace. It actively practices the vision of building a community with a shared future for mankind.
Chinese Ambassador Zhao Yong described the event as a celebration of two milestones, the PLA's 99th anniversary and 55th years of diplomatic relations between China and Sierra Leone. He expressed confidence that the long-standing friendship and cooperation between the two countries would continue to grow. Chief of General Staff of the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces, Major General Sir David Gauja, praised China's long-standing support, particularly in military training, humanitarian assistance, and healthcare cooperation, saying the partnership has strengthened the operational capacity of the RSLAF.
The People's Liberation Army has consistently stood by Sierra Leone, offering support in diverse areas that have strengthened our institution and enhanced our national resilience, such as human capacity development. One of the most enduring pillars of cooperation between the People's Liberation Army and the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces has been in this area.
Director General of Defense Gilbert Cooper reaffirmed Sierra Leone's commitment to the One China policy and commended China for its continued support to the country's security sector, economic development, and military modernization. As China approaches the centenary of the People's Liberation Army in 2027, both countries pledged to further strengthen defense cooperation and their long-standing bilateral friendship. Emmanuel Samoa, SLBC.
It's now time for us to go in for international news summary.
It is a pleasure. Thanks for joining me with the international news, and I'm Yusuf Mosiri Suma. We're going to start with Ukraine. 2 Wildberries warehouses were hit by Ukrainian strikes, with another site apparently linked to Russia's largest online retailer also damaged near Moscow. Ukraine has been targeting facilities operated by the company, often dubbed the Russian Amazon, in recent weeks. At least 5 people were killed and 10 more injured at an industrial site south of the Kremlin. Kyiv says the depot supplied the Russian military, which Moscow denies. Russia's defense ministry said it had intercepted and destroyed 320 drones overnight. Ukrainian media reported that the warehouse site was linked to Wildberries. Ukraine's State Emergency Service said an 89-year-old woman and 2 girls aged 2 and 12 were among 7 injured in a strike. From Ukraine, we're going right to Turkey. Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey, all mediators of the truce in the Gaza Strip, have strongly condemned ongoing Israel violations. Their joint statements came after Israel's renewed strike in the Palestinian territory, which reportedly killed over 20 people. They particularly denounced the targeting of health facilities and infrastructure and the resulting civilian casualties, including women and children. The mediators stressed the need for Israel to fully uphold its commitment under the ceasefire agreement. They urged the international community to pressure Israel to meet its obligations and demanded unhindered delivery of humanitarian aid and medical supplies to the enclave. And now to Cameroon. Cameroon's veteran leader, Paul Biya, who has not been seen in public for nearly 2 months, has reshuffled the country's military amid growing concerns over his prolonged stay abroad. The 93-year-old president appointed officials to key positions within the army and promoted 5 colonels to the rank of brigadier general. Such shakeups are not unusual under Biya's administration, particularly at times of intense public scrutiny or perceived weakness. The circumstances under which the latest changes were made have sparked debates, especially among social media users. Biya made the appointment in separate decrees from the Swiss city of Geneva, where he has been staying since leaving Cameroon on 7th June for what his team described as a brief private stay. And finally, we head into Ethiopia, where 14 people were killed and 5 others injured in a landslide that buried worshippers at a monastery in Ethiopia's northern Amhara region. The Horn of African nation, home to around 130 million people, is experiencing heavy rainfall during the longer of its rainy seasons, which runs from June to September. The landslide occurred in Seladinge, about 200 kilometers northeast of the capital Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, where more than 3/4 of the population lives in rural areas, is frequently affected by climate-related disasters. And that is all we have for today's edition of the International News. And I've been your presenter. My name is Yusuf Mosir Suma. And do stay with the SLBC channel 31. Thanks for watching.
From International News Summary, we move on to sport updates.
Exactly 1 year after assuming office, the Sierra Leone Football Association has presented a review of President Babadi Kamara's first year, highlighting achievements it says have repositioned football in the country. SLFA Secretary General Mohamed Benson Baro said the Secretariat has focused on implementing executive committee decisions, strengthening governance, improving administration, and promoting transparency and accountability.
Over the past 12 months, we have worked to strengthen the association, improve competitions, invest in infrastructure, support our national teams, and create a more structured and sustainable football environment.
President Kamara described the past 12 months as a period of transformation. Among the major achievements highlighted were the acquisition of a new 5-story SLFA secretariat, the successful return of international football to Sierra Leone after a 5-year absence, increased financial support to Regional Football Association, and record sponsorship agreements for the Premier League, Women's Premier League, and the FA Cup. The association also announced that inherited debts exceeding $250,000 have been fully settled. President Kamara said his administration has also prioritized women's and youth football throughout the establishment of the association's first women's football department, the appointment of its first women's football manager, the development of a national women's football strategy, and the launch of the FIFA Football for Schools program, which has distributed more than 1,000 footballs to over 400 schools nationwide. The association further introduced FIFA Connect, strengthening financial management systems, expanded referee and coaching development programs, launched its official website, and announced the construction of 435-seat pavilion at the SLFA Football Academy in King Tom, personally funded by President Kamara at a cost of $250,000 United States dollars.
You have seen the construction of a new 435-seater pavilion donated by my humble self on behalf of my family. a project that will improve the experience of players, officials, supporters, while creating an environment worthy of hosting football activities at a much higher standard. You have also
As the association enters its second year, President Camara says the focus will remain on football infrastructure, grassroots development, women's football, transparency, and qualifying Sierra Leone for major continental and global competition. For SLBC Sports, Baba.
From the sports update, that's how we draw the curtains of the news this morning. But before we go, a quick recap of a main point. President Julius Maada Bio has hosted a state banquet in honor of the President of Gabonese Republic, Brice Oligui Nguema, and his delegation who had now departed for home. The banquet celebrated the General Cooperation Agreement signed earlier and reaffirmed the growing partnership between Sierra Leone and Gabon. The Minister of Communications, Technology and Innovation, Salim Abba, has called on telecommunications services operators to improve on their services and ensure citizens enjoy the value of their money. She made the call during the National Telecommunications Authority 20th anniversary in Freetown. And the Minister of Fisheries and Marine Resources has concluded its fish distribution exercise delivering fresh fish to schools, hospitals, and vulnerable groups. The initiative, supported by Ocean Fresh Fishing Company, forms part of its corporate social responsibility and aligns with President Julius Maada Bio's Field Salon and Human Capital Development agenda. Well, that's our wrap-up this edition of the news from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. I've been your anchor, Esther Sako. Stay glued to your public service broadcaster, the SLBC, if you can. Bye for now.
SLBC is the national broadcaster and award winner